Yo, what's good, YouTube? I am back with another reaction video, and we got Evergreen Celtics in '86. Shout out to the person that gave this to me. I'm not sure their name, but shout out to you, man. Sorry I forgot your name, but if you can definitely leave your name down in the comments, and hold on real quick. Okay, I'm back. I had to mute my mic and fix it. But yeah, leave your name down in the comments. But let's get straight into this video.
It is over. It's 16. Sweet 16 is in the bag.
Evergreen Celtics 86 is being brought to you in part by Miller Brewing Company and Reebok, because life is not a spectator sport, and by McDonald's. It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's.
Basketball has seen quite a few changes over the years, from Dr. Naismith's peach baskets to collapsible rims. But one thing that has remained constant is the success of the Boston Celtics. Good evening, I'm Gil Santos, and welcome to Evergreen Celtics 86. We're originating from the Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield, and for the next 30 minutes, we're going to take a look back at the Celtics' 16th championship season. Joining me, of course, my partner Bob Cousy, who works with me on the Celtics Channel 56 telecast, former Celtic great and a member of the Hall of Fame himself. And Coos, since you have a place in this particular building, I must admit it is a very nice-looking house.
I can recommend it highly. It's a super place to visit. Don't know if I'd like to live here, however.
Well, we're going to take a look around the place. So, mon ami, follow me. Number 17, from Ohio State, the bouncing Buckeye John Havlicek. Right, a Boston folk hero, eh, Coos?
Oh, boy, I guess. You know, there are a lot of reasons why people get elected to the various halls of fame. I think probably the reason I like best in John's case is he probably could have made it on just hustle alone.
And hustle, I guess, is the one thing that made the play that people will never forget, 1965 playoffs, when this man, John Havlicek, stole the ball from Philadelphia's Hal Greer.
Just putting the ball on a play. He gets it out deep, and Havlicek steals it. Over the stand, Joe. Havlicek stole the ball. It's all over. Back over to Worthington, and it's picked off. Goes to Hemmings, and he lays it off at him. It's all tied up. A great play by Henderson.
Okay, so I'm guessing that it's gone to the 86. I don't know. I was really interested in wanting to see. I thought it was like the fool. Oh, that's corny. But anyway, let's see what happens.
Welcome back to Evergreen Celtics 86. I'm Gil Santos, along with my broadcast partner and former Celtic great Bob Cousy. And behind us, old chum, a place that I'm sure looks familiar.
Oh, boy, I'll tell you, it looks familiar, it feels familiar, it even tastes familiar. I'm into nostalgia these days. It may be giving away the age a little bit, but I like it just the way it is.
Now WLVI Sports Director Bill O'Connell takes a look at the very special Celtics season of '86.
Thanks, Gil. This old building saw quite a season for our guys in green. Another unbelievable MVP year for Larry Bird, the arrival of Bill Walton and Jerry Seasting, and an incredible 40-1 season record on the old parquet.
Now, this year's Celtics team, for the most part, has the same cast and characters on the starting five as last year, but the bench, the second team, or what Casey Jones likes to refer to as the green team, took a completely different mold this season. Last year, the top reserves off the bench were, when he was healthy, Cedric Maxwell, Quinn Buckner, M.L. Carr, Ray Williams, Carlos Clark, Greg Kite, and Scott Wedman. Now, this year's squad has the likes of Bill Walton, Jerry Seasting, David Thirdkill, Rick Carlisle, Sam Vincent, and just 2 returnees from last year's team, Greg Kite and Scott Wedman. Quite a difference, wouldn't you say? With the biggest and probably the most surprising addition coming from the Big Redhead.
His idea of playing a game when he came to the Celtics was to be a contributor for 20 minutes. He felt that's all he could do physically, and he's given 100% in those 20 minutes that they've allotted him. And in some cases, he had to play a little bit more than that, but he's always played hard.
The rebound by Walton. He outfought everybody. A backward stop shot. He went up backward and stopped it.
The Celtics began the 85-86 season in New Jersey against the Nets on October 25th. And despite a triple-double by Larry Bird, the Nets came from 19 points back to beat the Green in overtime. However, this would not be a harbinger of things to come. In fact, Boston ripped off 9 straight wins on the Garden floor until the Portland Trail Blazers came to town on December 6th. Jimmy Paxson and Clyde Drexler got the Blazers off and running to an 18-point lead midway through the second quarter. But little Sam Vincent sparked Boston to a 17-3 run, and all of a sudden the lead was down to just 6. Boston kept it close through the third, but they fell apart in the fourth as Jerome Kersey did in the Green, and in the process snapped a 9-game winning streak and a 9-game home winning streak, as Portland won it 121-103. It would be the last time Boston would lose on the home parquet during the regular season. Boston set team and league records for wins. They wound up with an incredible 40-1 home record, including 31 straight, en route to a 67-15 overall record. The Celtics hit their only slump of the season, if you could call it that, during the last 2 weeks of December, culminating with an embarrassing overtime loss to the Knicks in New York on Christmas Day. Pat Ewing led the guys from Gotham to probably the biggest comeback of the season, as New York wiped out over a 20-point lead to beat the Celtics in overtime. Needless to say, Boston woke up after that. They ripped off 15 wins in 16 games during the months of January and February. The biggest win in this streak came on January 22nd at the Garden against the hated L.A. Lakers, as Boston buried the Tinseltown champions, led by the Big Redhead.
Fronting Kareem. The pass goes in now to Kareem, and the shot is blocked by Walton from behind.
Through the month of February, Boston had a 46-11 record and all but had the Atlantic Division title wrapped up. Now, the month of March belonged to the Birdman.
There's your time remaining in the game, in the overtime period. Celtics are trailing by 1. It's going to be Bird. It's good! Larry Bird with 3 seconds to go, with the Celtics lead by 1. Larry with 47 points in the ballgame. Bird comes away with another rebound. Celtics leading 11-8 on Bird's last 3-pointer, so he tries another one. Of course! Left here in the first quarter. Bird backdoor. Now Seasting. Dennis Johnson is in replacing Carlisle. Bird's turnaround. What a show!
Fans are going to walk home. Over to Bird on a given.
Bird at the other end. And Bird checks out.
Bird was named Player of the Month in February and in March, and his numbers in March were staggering. He averaged 30.9 points, 9.1 rebounds, and 6.5 assists. He was truly phenomenal. Just take a look and listen to this exhibition on March 18 against Cleveland.
All right, hook pass goes to Bird in the corner, 3-point attempt. He's got it. Seasting. On the right sideline now to Bird. Bird takes the 3-pointer. He's got the 3-pointer. Now quickly on the right, it goes over to Bird. Let the 3-pointer go again. Got another one. Now out to Bird. Bird, a 3-point field goal. That's another one. Another one. He's got 4. All right, Bird again. 3-pointer. Another one. Another 3-pointer by Larry Bird. Unbelievable exhibition of shooting tonight.
In addition to being named Player of the Month twice, Bird also took home 4 Player of the Week honors. The Celtics cruised into the month of April, where they ripped off 7 wins against 2 losses, finishing the season with a 135-107 win over the New Jersey Nets. It was a truly remarkable year for the Green, and now it was time to start the quest for championship banner number 16.
Well, number 33, Coos, all the way from French Lick, Indiana. 3 years in a row, the NBA's most valuable player, Larry Bird.
I'll tell you, after covering Larry Bird for the last 7 years, I think we've both learned not to make any predictions about his level of play, but it seems to me we may have seen the best of Bird this year. I don't think I've ever seen a player have as spectacular and productive and consistent a season in the NBA, and it just seems to me that's going to be hard to add to, although I'll tell you, on this team, he may very well duplicate it.
Right now, let's take a musical one-on-one look at the MVP.
Just because I'm young don't mean I got no flavor. Trust me, I got flavor. I know it all. Shout out to all my elders out there, but I just want to let y'all know, trust me, I'm very into the mix. I know.
Well, number 14, Coos. Well, when you came to the Celtics, did you request this number 14? Was there anything superstitious about it at all?
Not really. I wasn't into voodoo or horoscopes or numbers. I think my priorities were a little more simple. I mean, I like to clean and, sew up the occasional hole. There's a few in there now. And, let's play ball.
Well, the Coos wore number 14 for the Celtics with pride and distinction. 13 seasons. During that time, the Celts won 6 world championships. And one of the most memorable has to be the '62 final against the Los Angeles Lakers. Here in Game 7 at the Garden, the Coos displayed his great dribbling ability, going through and around the LA defense, preserving Boston's 110-107 overtime thrilling win. Thanks to Hall of Famer Bob Cousy, the Celtics had won their 5th NBA title. And when Bob and I come back, we'll take a second look at the second season, the playoff, as Evergreen Celtics 86 continues after this.
And Peabody loved it. Oh, look at the bench. Did that bench go that one? Yeah, from the bench for Ricky Weitzman, his first 2 points of his NBA career in the playoffs. Goodrich. And it's over. The 10th world title. Look at those Celtics. They're mad. Imagine winning it away from home. What a ball club.
Celtics 86. Because when you think about the Chicago Bulls, you think about guys like Sloan, and Bob Love, and Chet Walker, but I guess really the greatest Chicago Bull of them all is the one who is just starting out, and that's Michael Jordan.
Oh, without question. And he's certainly going to end up in this building, I think. A lot of people, especially in Chicago, obviously, talk in terms of Michael being the next young Larry Bird. And I'll tell you, after watching him against us in the playoffs, I wouldn't disagree with that.
Well, those playoffs started on April 17th. Let's take a look at them with WLVI Sports Director Bill O'Connell.
The Celtics' first-round opponent was the unpredictable, schizophrenic Chicago Bulls, who finished the regular season 27 games out in the Central Division. However, that didn't matter. The Bulls were a team to be reckoned with, and all because of one man, Michael Air Jordan. poured in 49 points in Game 1 and a record 63 in the second. But it wasn't enough. Boston took Game 1, 123-104, and Game 2 in thrilling fashion, 135-133 in double overtime. The scene shifted to Chicago for Game 3, and the Green came out with a tenacious, trapping defense. The defense worked, as Boston, and in particular Dennis Johnson, held Michael Jordan to a mere 19 points before fouling out late in the fourth quarter. And Kevin McHale tossed in a game-high 31 as Boston blew out the Bulls 122-104, sweeping the series 3-zip.
So now it's on to the Eastern Conference semifinals against the much-improved Atlanta Hawks. They won 50 games during the regular season. The Hawks have a long and rich history in the NBA. They were one of the original franchises, actually, in 1949 and 50, when they were the Tri-City Blackhawks, coached by none other than Arnold Red Auerbach. They played out of 3 cities, Rock Island, Moline, and Davenport. From there, they moved to Milwaukee, and then from Milwaukee on to St. Louis, where some great battles started to take place between the St. Louis Hawks and the Celtics. In the 1957 finals, the Hawks and Celtics went down to a 7th and deciding game at the Garden, and it was a wild one. Went into double overtime before the Celtics finally won it, 125-123 for their first NBA championship. You know, when the Hawks had those great teams in St. Louis, they had a great player, a Hall of Famer, Bob Pettit. He led the NBA in scoring in 1956 and 1959. Today, they've got a great scorer as well, who led the NBA in scoring this very past season. That is Dominique Wilkins. Let's go to Bill O'Connell for a look at that.
The Celtics opened the second round of the playoffs against the Hawks at Boston Garden, and the Green literally put a vice grip on Dominique Wilkins, holding Wilkins to a measly 13 points in Game 1 that Boston won easily, 103-91. Then in Game 2, the story was the same. Kevin McHale held Wilkins to just 19 points, 11 under his season average, and the Shamrocks took Game 2, 104-99. The teams moved to Atlanta for Games 3 and 4, and Dominique Wilkins came out of his slump, scoring 38. However, it wasn't enough. Larry Bird poured in 28, helping Boston to a 111-107 win. Atlanta fought off a sweep, taking Game 4, 106-94. Little Spud Webb tossed in 21 points for the Hawks. So it was back to Beantown for Game 5, and the Green didn't take any prisoners.
Burrow, what a pass!
Take, no prisoners. Take no prisoners. We're gonna take no prisoners. We're gonna break a few hearts and on our way.
Danny McHale steals the ball, goes down the sideline. I think he hit a three-pointer.
Yes, he did.
It's a three-pointer parade. I can't believe this. They have blown the doors completely off the city of Atlanta.
The Celtics ripped off 24 straight points in a 36-6 third quarter. Boston bombed Atlanta 132-99, taking the series 4-1. So now it was time to bring on the Milwaukee Bucks.
Now, Coos, that's a pair of basketball shoes. Any idea who they belong to?
Obviously, Spud Webb.
Ah, contraire, mon ami, no. These are the basketball sneakers that were worn by one Mr. Bob Lanier, who played center for the Milwaukee Bucks for 4.5 seasons. But before Lanier, a lot of people forget this, he was preceded at center for the Bucks by a guy by the name of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. In the 1974 finals, Jabbar led Milwaukee against the Celtics. Jabbar averaged over 32 points per game in the series, but it was John Havlicek who stole the show, on to averaging 26 points a game in the 74 finals and named the series' most valuable player. The Celtics won the 7th and deciding game at Milwaukee, 102-87, as Tommy Heinsohn Celtics took home championship banner number 12. The Milwaukee Bucks won the Central Division Championship. They won 57 games in the regular season. In the playoffs, in the Eastern semifinals, they faced the Philadelphia 76ers, a tough 7-game series, an emotional one. They beat the Sixers 4-3, then came into the Garden to face the Celtics. Once again, here's Bill O'Connell.
In Game 1, the Bucks were without star guard Sidney Moncrief, who was nursing a myriad of injuries. Without Moncrief, the Celtics bombed Milwaukee 128-96. Game 2 at the Garden saw Sidney Moncrief back in the Bucks lineup. However, even with Sir Sidney, the Celtics took out the Bucks by 11, 122-111, thanks to plays like this.
Now, Bill Lambert's got to be in that category, too.
Oh, he is an oh. Oh! My goodness.
Dennis Johnson.
Yeah, that was
70 feet.
That was a down court pass, and he threw a 70-foot field goal in.
Larry Bird tossed in a game-high 26 points, and the Green had a 2-0 lead in games, with a sweep on their minds. The Celtics, with brooms in hand, fell behind by 7 at the break in Game 3. However, the Green, led by Larry Bird, came back to win. Bird, who tossed in 19 points, hit this three-pointer with 2:42 left, putting Boston up 107-97, and they hung on to win Game 3, 111-107. The sweep was on. In Game 4, the Bucks took a 3-point lead after one quarter. Then in the second, the action got rough. Watch here as Ricky Pierce decks Danny Ainge with a vicious elbow. Pierce was ejected at the 10-17 mark. Milwaukee led Boston by 3 after 3 quarters. But in the fourth, Larry Joe went to work, hitting 5 3-pointers.
Parish gets it back to Bird, who takes a 3-pointer of his own.
I tell you, that's the time he loves to shoot it.
Boston ran away with a 111-98 win, sweeping the Bucks in 4 straight.
Who would have thought that these guys from Houston would upset the defending NBA champion Los Angeles Lakers? Well, that they did. When Kuz and I come back, we'll take a look at the NBA Finals, the Celtics and the Houston Rockets, as Evergreen Celtics 86 continues.
Well, it's all over. Here are the Boston.
There's one guy to worry about, Moses Malone. This time there were 2 of them, the Twin Towers, Olajuwon and Sampson. The 1986 NBA Finals Series opened on Memorial Day at the Garden. One half of the Twin Towers, namely Ralph Sampson, had a day he'd like to forget. Sampson went 1 for 13 from the floor, scoring just 2 points for the game. Much of Sampson's trouble resulted from early foul trouble, and foul problems would also plague the other half of the Twin Towers, Hakeem Olajuwon. Hakeem had 25 first-half points, finished the game with 33. But here, with 4:49 left in the third, he picked up his 5th personal foul. At the time, Houston trailed the Celtics by only 5, but when Hakeem departed, the Celts went on a 14-4 run, sparked by Dennis Johnson and Danny Ainge. They combined for 22 of Boston's third-quarter points, and the Celtics took Game 1, 112-100. In Game 2, the Garden faithful cried out MVP, MVP, and with good reason, as Larry Bird put a spell on the Houston Rockets. The Birdman pumped in a game-high 31 points, and they ran away from the Rockets to take Game 2, 117-95. So now it was off to Texas with a 2-0 lead in games. In Game 3, the slumbering Twin Towers came alive before the home crowd, and the Rockets came back from a 7-point deficit. It'll be remembered forever as the inadvertent whistle game to down the Celtics 106-104. Then, as time was running down, Robert Parish appeared to be fouled as the ball slipped through several hands before going out of bounds. Meanwhile, Jake O'Donnell blew his whistle sometime during this sequence. After a huddle of the refs, a jump ball was ruled, which the Rockets controlled. Olajuwon was fouled, he sank 1 of 2 from the line, and Houston took Game 3, 106-104, cutting the Boston lead to 2-1. In Game 4 at the Summit, the Houston crowd was treated to another nail-biter. It went right down to the wire. With a score tied at 101 apiece and under 3 minutes to play, Larry Bird, as he's done so many times in the past in crunch time, dumps in a 3-point bomb, and the Celtics have a 104-101 lead. Then the big redhead, Bill Walton, came up with a key play of the game moments later.
DJ fakes, starts to go, goes driving in, lays it up, no good. Walton, a flying rebound, lays it in. What a play by Bill Walton!
The Celtics then played keep away, preserving a 106-103 win and giving them a commanding 3-1 lead in games. So it was on to Game 5 at the Summit, where the Celtics would look to close out the series and take championship number 16 home to Boston. However, the Rockets had other things in mind, and the most memorable moment in Game 5, and probably the series, was the fight. 9:40 left in the second quarter, Ralph Sampson turned the game into a battle royal. Sampson was ejected for starting the melee, But what the ejection did was to fire up his Houston teammates as the Rockets went on to blow out the Celtics in Game 5, 111-96. So it's back home for Game 6, and the Garden faithful were ready. The Celtics ran Hakeem and company right out of the Garden, jumping out to early leads of 14-6 and 20-9. By halftime, the lead was up to 17. Houston's Ralph Sampson pulled another disappearing act. He went scoreless for most of the first half, had only 2 points in the half, and 8 for the game. The Celtics led by as many as 30 points, and again, it was Larry Bird who led the way. The Celtics went on to win their 16th NBA championship, downing Houston 114-97, taking the series 4 games to 2. Well, championship number 16 was a sweet 16 to be sure. Let's take a look back now at Celtics Pride Day.
I've been here many times. I loved every minute of it. But this year was the sweetest.
6. Coos, you've been on your share of Celtics championship teams. What is it that makes this franchise so special, the Celtics?
Well, I think very briefly what it means is that many years ago, Walter Brown, the first owner, established a foundation for this franchise based almost completely on integrity. I think a guy named Red Auerbach, using his extreme knowledge, expertise, and dogged determination, has been the glue, really, over the years that has created the most successful sports dynasty in the history of this country. And in so doing, they've been blessed with an array of an exceptional talent from Cousy to Bird, really.
All right. That's going to take care of it. I want to thank you very much for joining us. Remind you that the Celtics have now won 16 championships, and I guess we can all hardly wait to get started on number 17. Thank you for being with us. Good night. Let's look back at some of those 16 championships.
Through the years when everything went wrong, together we were strong. I know that I belong right here with you. Through the years, I never had a doubt. We'd always work things out. I've learned what life's about by loving you through the
Seconds left, and the lead is down to 2 points. All right, Casey with the ball. Gets surrounded. 1 second. Is it? It's all over. Havlicek got the pass, and he gets mobbed. It's all over. That's the first.
And it's over. The 10th world title. Look at those Celtics. They're mad. Imagine winning it away from home.
12 seconds left. They haven't won this yet. Havlicek gets it out to Nelson. Now to Hard. Hard. To White. They don't have to shoot. They're counting it down. And that is the ball game. It's over.
Through the years, I never had a doubt. We'd always work things out. I've learned what life's about by loving
Evergreen Celtics 86 has been brought to you in part by McDonald's. It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's, and Miller Brewing Company, and by Reebok, because life is not a spectator sport.
Alrighty, y'all. Alrighty. That was a good video right there. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it. Hopefully I had your little snacks, your little popcorn, because that was a good video, man. That was a good video. And yeah, that's about it, man. The Evergreen Celtics 86. Now I wish in the beginning that they like didn't cut, but I understand. Maybe I can actually find this actual whole video. But yeah, that was decent, man. That was nice. I like that. I really enjoyed that. Hope y'all enjoyed that too. But yeah, man, I'm on to the next video. Subscribe if you're new. Hit that like button. Turn on that bell, man. I'm uploading every single day. Excuse me. But yeah, that's about it, man. We're gonna wrap up this video. I definitely got the interview video coming after this, so definitely look out for that, because I know that's been buzzing. People have been buzzing me about that, and also not bugging, buzzing. Okay, it's a difference. I don't want people thinking like, no, I'm not like that. Y'all can spam, do whatever, hit me up 1,000,000, 1,000, 1,000,000, billion, quintillion times. I don't care. You know, I love y'all, man. I really do. But yeah, so I definitely got an interview coming after this. It's a long one too. It's like 44 minutes, so prepare for that. Just like this is a long one, almost 30 minutes. So definitely prepare for that. Just wanted to give y'all that heads up. And I also just wanted to say, let's get this video to 50 to 100 likes. I just want to test my family, you know. Let's get 50 or 100 likes on this video. But yeah, that's about it, man. I'm on to the next video. Definitely look out for the interview video coming. And yeah, that's about it, man. I love y'all. I'm out. Evergreen Celtics 86 was definitely nice. But I'm out, man. For now, I love y'all. On to the next video. Peace.